Now you see a moderator. You didn't even notice. Thank you. Thank you. You didn't even notice. You didn't even notice. Okay, so for this panel, I will call Pedro on stage. I will call Nuno Comando, I will call Manuel Andrade, and I will call Pedro as well. Let's go. Thank you very much. Obrigado. Oh, let me just take the magic dust off. So, how are we feeling? Good?
Good.
All good. Great. So, as you can see, we've had a few changes. This is entrepreneurship. Welcome to the entrepreneurial world. Iteration, adaptation. We need to be constantly improving, yeah? So, Pedro, I'm going to start with a really brief presentation on Mission Carbon Zero, just to give them a quick context on what we're going to talk about here, and they will see how this is exactly what the previous panel was talking about. So, what did we understand? We understood that Lisbon was one of the 100 cities that was committed to do this, to carbon neutrality in the CCC, the climate contract. And so Lisbon has to deliver concrete results until 2030. What we felt was like, okay, we want to be a part of this. We can add value, we can bring solutions as an entrepreneurship ecosystem. So what we did was, let's see if we can collaborate to make Lisbon a carbon neutral city. And so we challenge the ecosystem to join forces to understand the challenges, to address them, and to develop pilots that could actually have a real impact, as the ones we saw just before, okay? So, who did we challenge? Companies, enablers, Municipality of Lisbon, startups, and citizen will also be involved in this, okay? Just so you know, what does this mean? This is a process. It has a lot of phases. We will have matchup between company, challenge, and then with startups, and then we will have the pilot deployment, okay? I'm not going to bother you with more details. Why am I showing this? Because we will have a website ready already for you to check the details on the information. Who is in at this phase? So, as co-organizers, we have the amazing Unicorn Factory. So then we have also institutional partner, the Municipality of Lisbon. Galp is the first company to join in. And then we have a lot of enablers without, like Casa do Impacto, Microsoft, Nextbit, Portugal Ventures, and Startup Portugal. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit at a table and see what can we bring to the table and add value together. So we will do this movement together. Is it clear? Perfect. Now I'll shut up and start the questions. Okay, so let's start with you, Pedro. And this question will go through all of you, okay? So who are these amazing individuals, and what can your company or organization bring to the table to this movement?
Yeah, so basically at Unicorn Factory Lisboa, we are now verticalizing some of the spaces that we work with. And one of them, it's the sustainability segment with our Green Hub. So what we try to do there is to join the community between the different kinds of players in this vertical. So projects like Mission Carbon Zero are one good example of a cooperation that we want to happen more and more for the Green Hub as a whole. The main focus is not that we develop all the activities that happen there, but all these amazing companies, corporate partners, investors, startups have different opportunities that can happen under the umbrella of these verticals, and that we can support and be the facilitators that can help all those startups to grow and all those partners to have that interaction with the ecosystem, to grow value, to gain scale, and for us also to become competitive with other different countries, not just in Europe, but in the world.
Exactly. Perfect. So just let me, why this slide came up, because I forgot it. That's also humanity at its best. And this slide will guide you to the website where you can join this movement. You can join this movement as a lot of different papers, so roles. So just check it out. If you want to join, just jump in. So Manuel, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so, well, good morning. Yes, you know, when we got involved in Mission Carbon Zero for Lisbon was very logical for us. So Galp, it's a company that it's committed to the energy transition. And one of the most important things for us is try to get the ecosystem together in order to do pilots. In the previous panel, they discussed that a lot. But it's something that we really need to focus on because, and I don't want to sound pessimistic here, not at all, but it's, we are not being able to do the pilots that we need. You know, and for instance, in my field, the energy transition, there's a lot of solutions, there's a lot of technologies that they work in the lab, but then in order to be a business, you need to try them in real world environments, you need to try them in public space, and only if you try them there, and it's where you can know that you can build a business case, and if you build a business case, that's where you make money, and if you make money, they will scale. Otherwise, they won't. I think we all can agree on that. You need to make money to make something big and to make it large and for everybody to use. And the only way to do this is through collaboration and is to get an ecosystem like this one together and where we can try to join forces and overcome the hurdles that are in our path, which are, some of them are big, some of them were actually talked in the previous panel, but just for you to have this idea, we were talking about one small part of the puzzle, which was electric massification. If you want to decarbonize a city, there's hundreds or thousands of solutions that need to be tested and need to be scaled, and we need to start doing that.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Manuel. Nuno.
So hello everyone, it's an honor to be here with you guys, and I'm Nuno, I'm the director of Casa do Impacto, and we are a one-stop shop for impact innovation. 6 years ago we created this hub where we gather we believe all the tools for early stage startups to grow, and this hub is powered by a 5th-century organization, Santa Casa. So it's quite hard for the foreigners when they see it, but it is true. We support startups, entrepreneurs, and also organizations that want to develop solutions connected with this topic of impact, not only social impact, but also environmental impact. And for the past 6 years, we have been doing so, and we help the projects to grow alongside a very special group of partners and providers of mentorship and capacity building programs. And this is what we do mainly. So we have these 3 verticals: capacity building, incubation, and investment. And we try to gather all the tools for them to grow. And we help around 120 startups annually, and half of them are connected with sustainability. So this is, we want to create pipeline for this ecosystem to grow and also to test in real environments.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nuno. Pedro, you want to go?
Well, thank you very much for having me here. And I start to congratulate IMATCH and Unicorn Factory and all the municipality of Lisbon, of course, and all the partners for this initiative, Mission Carbon Zero. Is definitely an initiative that will give a relevant contribution to put Lisbon and Portugal on the map as a clean tech hub in Europe. Portugal Ventures, we are a venture capital firm. We are public. We work on the market gaps. That's where our sweet spot is. We work for verticals, digital, industry, life sciences, and tourism. We do equity, we invest in equity and quasi-capital instruments like convertible loans and safes. Early stage, that's where we feel we complete our mission. We have a pre-seed call innovators, which was recently, I believe it's still open. I'm not sure about the dates, but call innovators, they focus on pre-seed projects. Many of them are on the universities, so it's a very important call to take out some ideas that can be converted in businesses coming out of the universities. We follow a very standard procedure. Also, the amount of investment is also a standard amount. And we believe that we also have a focus, we call innovators, on clean tech besides circular economy and other verticals. Also, we have an important role closing rounds on MVPs, participating in syndicated rounds of funding. Two important sectors for our activity, life sciences and tourism. We are the few operators investing on those on these two areas with the specific funds. We expect by the end of this semester to set up a new fund, Deep Tech Fund. I believe you already heard about it. And this fund, of course, will have a focus also on clean tech and decarbonization technologies. Also, BPF is active and deploying funds for the clean tech. So I believe our Portugal Ventures and BPF as a group, we can have an important role here. We are working together with Clean Tech Iberia. It's a spin-off from Breakthrough Energy, and they are very active putting together investors, entrepreneurs, and I believe they will play an important role putting Europe on the map as a clean tech hub. Well, to conclude, I believe that Mission Carbon Zero has a perfect fit with these instruments that we have at the moment and are being implemented in Portugal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pedro, for sharing, and also for filling the shoes of Teresa, and very well represented.
That's part of a startup life,
part
and
of
you
startup
already
life.
mentioned, so I kept time.
Exactly. You plan 70%.
But one thing for sure, Teresa was very sad for not being here today with you. She received a lot of messages saying that she would, but, well, she couldn't.
Exactly. Okay, so now I'll take your intake and just ask you why collaboration matters in this movement. So why does it matter that this movement is a collaborative one? Do you want to?
Yeah, I can start. In the job that I think that we all do, we all know that innovation is not made just by one kind of player. It's made by corporates that have the muscle, the experience, the knowledge to go forward with an idea. Goes with the startups and the founders that have good ideas, but usually without having investment, without having someone that trusts on their idea and their pilots, can't execute it or put it on the market. Doesn't goes with an investor that goes for it, and doesn't goes also with facilitators that can help them go faster than others that are competing with them on the market. So I think it's a natural movement that this ecosystem is built on a collaborative way, where each one benefits from the work of the other, and there is a win-win relation on growing together.
Thank you very much. And it's a bit of like an evolution also on our side, right? So because I feel like Portuguese culture is very
village way.
Yeah, exactly. very. I'm super special, so I will take this on, and it will be super. No, it's together it's stronger. Manuel, do you want to add
Yeah,
anything?
I totally agree. So it's nobody knows it all, nobody owns it all, so we all need to collaborate. And those are most of the times complex problems. Doing entrepreneurship, having new ideas, turning them into business is not easy. That think of a dreamer that in a lab has an idea that will change the world. Unfortunately, is not true. And so we all need to collaborate and we all need to create the perfect conditions in order to, in small increments, small ideas that can grow, and we can change the bigger picture, because there's a lot to change in the bigger picture.
Yeah, thank you. Nuno, you want to add?
Yeah, I think Pedro and Manuel already said it all, but collaboration is actually, it's key for the success, not only for our projects, Casa do Impacto, for instance, but also for our projects, because we need to provide them tools and space for them to not only test in a Santa Casa environment that is very particular, but also in a real company environment. So this is what we try to provide them, and this kind of collaborations in this kind of programs, it's also very important for us, Casa do Impacto, because we have all the assets needed for them to test and everything.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say.
Yeah.
It's the air we breathe, but I can mention that in Portugal Ventures, 4 years ago, we started working on a network, a corporate network, because we understood there was a big difference in between a startup, a dynamic, and a corporate, an incumbent corporate, a big corporate in the market. And we understood on these 4 years that we can play an important role as a translators between what is the dynamic of a startup and the language they speak, and a corporate. And I believe that the startups brought a very important contribution to corporates with this spirit of cooperation instead of competition. And nowadays, we see much more different situation, and also the corporates are much more willing to cooperate.
Yeah. Great. So collaboration is key. We can all agree. And why us? Let's keep in mind in terms of well, the strategies that we have in hands, the initiatives that we have in hands, also the mistakes that we've made. Please share them, and maybe some advices that we can share. What can we bring to the, you want to go?
I think the ecosystem is following a natural path of growth, and we are also trying to understand where it goes. In my perspective, I think it's going way more on the concrete value of the interactions between the player than just promoting or have awareness. So 10 years ago, we were creating the awareness on the ecosystem, positioning Portugal as one of the innovation countries in the world. I think now it's making that happen. And I think I totally agree with Manuel was saying that the materialization of a pilot, it's not an easy task. It might seem that it's just, okay, here is a good startup, here is Galp, okay, you have an introduction, that's it. But it's not. The regulations that the startups have to understand, the context of the company that the startup have to understand, and otherwise, the translation that the corporate has to do to the startup to materialize the objectives that the corporate has, so the startup also understands that they both have to grow together. It's not an easy thing to put in place. So I think we are now passing on the ecosystem to a more concrete part of the project's execution, and passing from an awareness part from an implementation part. And that's why all these initiatives are appearing, open innovation initiatives, the hubs that we are opening, all the materialization of good projects that we are seeing appearing from corporate partners. even in terms of the number of people that works on corporate teams of innovation, it's growing and growing. So now you are seeing that corporates are being more prepared to face the challenges and not just scouting 2 or 3 startups that would be good to have on the pitch. So I think it's the years that we will see real results and materialization of the work that have been well done through these 10, 15 years on the ecosystem.
Yeah, and picking up on what you were saying, Pedro. So even if all goes well and between a startup and a corporate, and they are two different beasts, they talk different languages, and the problem is if they get along and if they can work together and if they can try a product, then he's trying it. And sometimes the hurdles are very big. And if you want to try them in public spaces or in places that are not confined, is very difficult. We had several pilots that we were not able to do because, well, we were not able to do. I won't say anything else. And that's the question. We need to start being more practical, and we need to try to get the ecosystem ready because, as I was saying, there's not one great idea that will change it all, so we need to work with a lot of startups and entrepreneurs that have ideas, and we need to test those ideas. We need to talk the same language, and so then we need to try to understand if we can make money with it, so the startup makes money, the corporate makes money, and if we can test that in a real environment, everything will go well. But it's not. But as of now, we need to do more.
Yeah, definitely need to do more, and in a more agile way. That's what we're aiming here for.
Yes.
Nuno.
Yeah. Testing new solutions in this kind of environments is very difficult, and in companies' environment is very difficult. It's hard work. So you can imagine to test it in a 500 years old organization like Santa Casa. Yeah. So it's very hard work for everyone, and we think we can bring some knowledge and experience in that topic. What we have learned from the past 6 years of trying to bridge these entrepreneurial solutions with the day-to-day activities of Santa Casa, so we can bring this to the table and also to learn a lot from this experience between these partners in order to also try to fail less times than we did from the past 6 years. So this is what we are trying to bring, and also we need to provide them the space, as I said before, for them to test with the best in the business, and we have here a couple of the best companies and organizations in the business. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, what I can add from our experience in Portugal Ventures, we have at the moment 160 companies at our portfolio. 70 are very early stage. But what we can see from the hurdles and the constraints that normally came with proof of concepts and pilots is communication. Is the lack of clarity, the lack of in between the objectives, in between the companies and the startups, in terms of objectives, in terms of what is supposed to happen after, if they prove their case, what is supposed to happen, will there be a roll-up or not? So I believe that is the most problem, which gives a startup already has a very volatile life, and without the capacity to predict what will happen after the pilots, it's much more difficult. Sometimes the projects, they stop because they get out of cash, and that's it. They don't have time to be waiting for 3-4 months for a decision from a corporate, because those objectives, those KPIs were not set up in the right time.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I'll just give you a final wrap-up. This is, we've been around. we've made a lot of mistakes. We've learned a lot of things. And we believe that together we can go further, okay? So this is really an open movement, as you can check online. And as an open movement, we invite you, we instigate you to bring your value to the table and to, within all of us, to understand how can we go further and stronger with more impact and actually change things and to make them undeniable to have to happen, okay? So this is the intention that we are aiming here for, okay? Also, just to share a quick note on the vision, if this is entrepreneurship, if we can make it, there's the question, if we can make it, together we can make it more likely, but if you can make it, we can also actually build a case and we can bring that case to the other 100 cities that have signed this contract. So we can be Lisbon, and the Lisbon entrepreneurship ecosystem can be the benchmark for other cities. Okay, that's the vision. So please feel enthusiastic and join us on this movement. Thank you very much and have a nice break. And we'll see you after with a lot of very interesting panels. Okay, thank you very much.